Thanks for joining us here on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. We're thrilled to have you with us, America. Look, we're not going to beat around the bush. We've got a big show tonight coming to you live from Amfest out in Phoenix, Arizona. Before we get there, I want to take another look here. Please go to johnstubbins.com. And if you can, donate to help us get this documentary, American Anarchy, rocking and rolling. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to head out to Phoenix.
You guys, we do have the MyPillow 0.20 or 2.0, MyPillow 2.0, the best pillow in 20 years. We've improved on the best sleep ever, and use that promo code Indivisible. Indivisible.
Yes, sir.
And if you use that, it's a buy one, get one free.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. We're going to head right now out to Amfest in Phoenix, Arizona, where we've got Roger Farina. He is lined up out there live with Jaeson Jones and also Shawn Wilson. We're going to be reporting there from Phoenix, Arizona. Turn it over to you, brother.
Hey, folks, Roger Farina. We are on location at Amfest in Phoenix at the Border 911, and we are bringing to you a special on location, Indivisible with John Stubbins. Johnny's up in Ohio right now, but we're here on the ground in Phoenix with a constant guest and outstanding warrior, Jaeson Jones. We're about 3.5 hours from Lukeville, and Jaeson and I have been spending some time talking about Lukeville. Tell us what's going on down there.
Well, as you're seeing, most of the media is showing the American public thousands upon thousands of migrants from all over the world. The real story there isn't that. You got to remember, you got to ask yourself one question. Why is it that they're all crossing at one of the most remote locations on the southwest border? Well, it's because this is where the Sinaloa cartel is pushing them, and that's all by design. So that's how they can then move in high values. People who come from countries with a terrorism nexus who may be wanted on the terrorism watch list, or they can move in deadly fentanyl into this country. Arizona right now, Americans need to understand, this is ground zero for fentanyl pouring into our country. Why, though? Because the Sinaloa cartel controls all of the border with Arizona and Mexico. And this is why Arizona is directly impacted. So when you hear me talk about why we got to focus on the Sinaloa cartel and cartel, how this going to new generation, it's because those are the ones that are impacting the American people first and foremost. So remember this. Any media that shows you these large groups consistently coming across, never forget that is all by design by the cartels, because you got to ask yourself, why would these people cross in some of the most remote country if they weren't having to do so? They wouldn't. They take the easiest, fastest route.
About a month ago, I had the opportunity to go to Eagle Pass and got the opportunity to meet a handful of folks traveling 70 days from El Salvador, a mom with her kids. It's just really amazing how they're traveling like that.
Well, it is. And you got to ask yourself, now we're in a different cartel's territory. That is Cartel del Noreste, known as CDN, formerly the Los Zetas. And the reason they're crossing there and not in South Texas where CDG is because they charge such high peso or tax that it's pushed these migrants over. And that's the whole reason they've been crossing. We've never in the history of the border seen mass migration in Eagle Pass and in the Del Rio sector. Why are we seeing it now? Because they're avoiding the war that's going on between several cartels, trying to work around it, but also being pushed over there by these cartels. So one of the things that really frustrates me is that the American people, aren't told why these migrants move where they move. They move because that's how they are told to do so by the smugglers and by the organizations. Another thing is we're hearing a lot of reports from Border Patrol that I'm getting out about how these women and children are being sexually assaulted down there. The sexual assaults happening are tremendous. They are tremendous. So there's a reason, too, why migrants are uniting in these big caravans, because it's the safety in numbers. And while you hear it on the news and you're seeing them as they come through Chiapas and other areas, these big groups, what you're not told is that that's a safety mechanism to keep them from being scavenged by these absolute animals who are these cartels.
It's incredible. When I went down there, like, I'm retired military, and I knew I was going down there, and I went down there because I was wearing my military hat. And I was like, I'm going down, I want to protect our border, this invasion. And the thing I came away with, while I was still wearing my military hat, when you're standing a foot away from these people climbing through the concertina wire, and they have babies, and you just watch them wade across the Rio Grande in the treacherous waters of the Rio Grande, putting their lives at danger, and they're actually crossing the concertina wire, I have to sit here and say to myself, well, I just listened to President Biden say the borders are secure. And I'm like, I'm standing there, and I'm like, no, they're not. I'm watching them, And you have to feel, you put on your human hat, and you have to feel that, because his policies are not being enacted, he's putting these people in danger. He's making them, escape where they were, right. And and it's a humanitarian issue,
Well, a humanitarian issue that we created. Yes. Our government has done this to our own citizens. And, as much as we talk about these migrants, look, I've been down there with thousands upon thousands. I've almost gotten to a point where I've stopped completely, because to me, I care about you, the American public. The reason I've been trying to get these cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations is I'm all about what's impacting you and your families. What has taken place now as a direct result of so much illegal migration is what I call the convergence. And you're going to start hearing this term in other media groups because they're all starting to follow it now. But what it is that you in the north, if you're in the northern part of our nation, you have felt our border for decades through the lens of overdose deaths. In the south, we have felt it through the lens of human smuggling, human trafficking. And as we have been overwhelmed with illegal immigration, what has taken place is what I call the convergence. In the north, you now see the human smuggling and trafficking impacting your communities. In the south, we are now being impacted by the deadly drugs that are killing our citizens. I don't want to say we were immune, but we didn't see it on the sheer volume that you saw it. So that's a real shame, because it shows you the impact here at all parts of our country. And that's what Border 911 is about, is trying to say, look, if we're going to fix this, you got to look at what is the hub, what are the key problems. It is the cartels. The immigration layer is easy. That's a policy failure. Don't let anyone tell you, and a lack of enforcing the rule of law. But when you look at the trafficking of narcotics, the smuggling of terrorists, the open border, how the Halcon network has control of your border, we have to get this terrorism designation to bring all of it down. Because whether I'm talking about drug trafficking, extortion, human smuggling, human trafficking, sexual assaults, and the long list of the impact of transnational crime, these cartels are the hub. And when we go after them, that's when we will see massive decreases in crimes impacting you and your families. But I will tell you, and I mean this to the core of who I am, this will not change under this administration. As a matter of fact, remember I said this, between now and January of 2025, you're going to see these numbers continue to increase, and the overdose deaths of our citizens could continue to climb through the roof at unprecedented levels.
On one of the last shows, you said there were 83,000?
No, we are now at 112,000. From May of 22, according to the CDC, to May of 23, according to the CDC, 111,877 to be exact. So when you hear the rounded off number of 112, that's where that's coming from. But I want you to understand something. The data usually is collected from the CDC by morticians and morgues and our pathologists who collect the samples. Usually they average 3 to 5 months behind. There are so many of our citizens dying from deadly drugs that now we're between 5 and 9 months behind before CDC can get the data. That's why the closest data I can even give you is May to May. So please hear me.
And we're in December.
That's what I mean. Our system as we know it is breaking down because it was never designed to have this many Americans dying of deadly overdoses. Never designed for it.
Well, Jaeson, we've sat here and I've listened to you on Indivisible with John Stubbins for several episodes. And I've seen the videos that you've sent to John about, the mile-long length of people walking. And it, it's like, wow, that's incredible. But having gone down to the border and stood on the north shore of the Rio Grande and crossed over into Mexico and walked on the other side and walking along those concertina wires and seeing the clothes and the bags and the baby shoes and then seeing the thrown down passports. We saw passports from Colombia and Cuba. And, I didn't know what the name, I don't remember the word. It's a Spanish word, but I came back home and I looked it up and it stood for Prozac. there are wrappers of Prozac, and I imagine that there was a whole bunch of other drugs. And you don't get to understand this, and it just means a whole bunch different when you're standing there and you're watching the person get cut, and it's just incredible. And you're exactly right about this stuff.
Well, in Arizona, where we're seeing what's happening in Lukeville, a lot of that is BLM land and government land. In Texas and in other states, a lot of that is personal citizens' property, and I call them massive debris fields. Look, I've been in these debris fields so thick they're up to my knees, and I filmed it with Newsmax to try to get it out because so many people. But imagine that being your property. These ranchers, I call them abandoned Americans, because when you go down there and you see some of the most beautiful, the border region,
and they're damaging the people's property and killing their livestock.
Absolutely, livestock are eating bottoms of shoes, they're eating clothing, and it's killing them. I mean, these people are losing their lifestyle. So, I feel for our citizen. I feel for I'm tired of talking about migrants. I'm tired of talking about people all over the world. You are what matters. And the rest of the media and everybody else can forget about you. We're not going to. There's a reason we're doing what we're doing, because let me tell you, if you think it's bad now, if you wonder where this ends, hear me out. All you have to do is look at Mexico to see what's coming, because it is coming here, make no doubt about it.
Here's your question. I went down with Victor Avila, who's running for Congress in Texas 23. And as these people coming across, we asked them, where are you coming from? Why are you coming? And one of the groups said they were coming because they were escaping the cartel. And what we found was, if you're escaping the cartel and you're not escaping governmental prosecution, right, you can't.
It's called credible fear.
You can't file for asylum.
That's
Is
correct.
That true?
Yeah, because they're not a government. The cartel's not a government. Now, don't get me wrong. For those of us who know how they operate, they're a parallel government, yes, but they're not considered a legitimate government. And under our current law, when you claim credible fear, you have to claim credible fear from the Mexican government. And who can really do that when you talk about the Mexican government? There's no system for that. So look, Americans, you're being taken advantage of by our own government. That's the truth of it. You're being lied to through and through. Why are we dealing with mass migration? Because Secretary Mayorkas created exemptions for children, unaccompanied children, created exemptions for family units, and then country after country after country after country. And that's exactly, America, why they are coming. But I will say it again and again. We are so far beyond the migration issue. That's one layer to the problem. When you start peeling back this onion and recognizing the national security and public safety threats to you and your families, this is why we are working 7 days a week and not shutting down. I haven't sat in my house and slept in my own bed since the December 6th. What is today, the 16th?
Yeah,
17th? I mean, I wish I could. If you think that 300 families are going to get a knock at the door today over fentanyl is a problem, get ready. This will not slow down. I know them very well. We are going to have to go after and absolutely shut down these cartels.
Are you going to be home for Christmas?
A few days, yeah. I'm ready to get there right now. If you can't see it in these eyes, I'm ready to get there.
Starting into the next year, what's happening? What's coming up for Border 911 and Jaeson Jones?
Yeah, we are working right now to get a lot more funding coming in. So if you can help us at Border 911, please donate. Everything is about bringing the best of the best at this issue to illuminate to Americans all across the nation. We're going to spend the next 12 months doing just that and educating the American people. But not only that, privately educating both Republican and Democrats, because one of the things we've learned is that they really don't understand the cartels. Sure, they go to the border, they take border tours, they see the large numbers of groups coming, but we're trying to truly educate our citizens about the threats of the cartels, their public safety because of this open border, and most importantly, what we're going to do to get this shit fixed, because we are.
Well, thank you, Jaeson. This is Roger Farina on location for Indivisible with John Stubbins at Amfest in Phoenix at the Border 911 booth. Thank you, Jaeson, so much. It was good spending some time with you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great to be back.
Hey, this is Roger Farina for Indivisible with John Stubbins on location at the border outside Sasa Bay, Arizona. There's an opening kind of here that they tried to cover or reseal a little bit. One of the cool things is you can see these metal panels. So if you get to the top, you can't make it all the way across because of those metal panels. You can see here the American Red Cross, winter blanket, the space blankets. So this is Roger for Indivisible, John Stubbins, on location, Sassabee, Arizona.
Thanks for that reporting, Roger. We really needed that. Thank you very much, Brother Jaeson Jones. As always, we're thrilled to have you, and it means a lot to have you on the show as Newsmax chief correspondent at the border. And you're an amazing American, brother. We love you. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
We're back, folks, and I'm going to send you right back out to Roger Farina, live at Amfest in Phoenix, Arizona, where he's got Shawn Wilson. Shawn is the owner of a security firm, and we're going to shoot right out there now.
Folks, Roger Farina here. I'm with Citizen Media News, and I'm actually hosting On Location for Indivisible with John Stubbins. John's up in Columbus, and we are here at Amfest in Phoenix. Beautiful weather outside, and we're here at the Border 911 booth, and I am with Shawn Wilson, who runs a security firm, and he spent some time down at the border, and he's got some interesting stories that he's going to share with us. Shawn, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's Amfest going?
It's beautiful. I love it. It's my first time here. This thing is huge. And I hope it grows next year.
Yeah, like we're standing here, and that Jack O'Keefe is over there, or James O'Keefe and Jack Probasek are over there. Riley Gaines just was on stage. It's been pretty darn incredible.
Yeah, it is. I've met a lot of interesting people and a lot of people in the conservative movement that are really making a difference in this country.
So, Shawn, tell me about your company and what you do, and tell me about your trip. I mean, right now we're 3.5 hours from Lukeville,
Correct.
which has been ground zero lately.
Yes.
In the news and whatnot. So
my company is MSG Risk Management Intelligence. We're a corporate security company that provides corporate security protection to high net worth individuals and dignitaries. We do corporate investigations, and we also do intelligence for the corporate side and for the government entities. So we provide a lot of intelligence now on the border.
Gotcha. So what's going on at the border? What have you seen, and what have you been doing down there?
Well, right now, I'm going to echo the same thing that Jaeson Jones and Victor and Tom Holman and everybody else says. Our border is the biggest national security risk to this country right now. And if we don't do something within the next 10 months, we may lose control of it totally. I mean, right now we do not have operational control of our border. There's nobody stopping the flow of migrants coming into the United States. Border Patrol has just become basically a babysitting service, and they process agents and move them around the country, and that's all that's happening. With the amount of resources that are being used and taken up because of the influx of migrants coming across, that means that we're not able to detect the drugs coming across and being able to get an accurate count of the people that are coming in here. With the numbers that are coming in and that we're processing, you can almost surely prove that the numbers that are coming across are triple of what they are being documented. So if we have 1 million coming in right now that are documented, we probably have 3 million coming in.
Really?
Yes.
What are some, with your time down at the border, what are some of the situations that you've seen and personally seen and your company's dealt with?
Within the last couple of weeks when we were down in Lukeville, I mean, the cartel was cutting the fence right in front of law enforcement, in front of Border Patrol. They didn't care. They were wearing weapons. They were taunting Border Patrol. They were mistreating the migrants going into the United States. They had businesses running on the Mexico side where they were feeding the migrants through the fence that were on the border road waiting to be processed. They were delivering food to the border and handing it through the fence and making money off the migrants while they were sitting on the border road waiting to be processed.
That's incredible. I mean, I was at Eagle Pass. I was telling Jaeson about that. And the things that you're talking about, you sit here and you hear people talk about the situation, about how intense it is and how the volume of people. But having gone down there and seen it, it's just incredible and it's moving and scary. The amount of people that came over and where are they going? Are they
the country?
And so one of the things that there's a threat of violence, which I always worry about, but
it's not a threat; it's actually happening.
Right.
I mean, the violence has spilled into the United States. It's just not being reported.
Right. But where I was going with what I was saying was, I'm worried about they pour all these people in there and like what's going on in Michigan with the squad and stuff like that. They start going in and they could start taking over some of these congressional seats and lead positions of power in our government. Well, that's what else I fear.
I'm going to go a step further,
really?
And nobody's saying it, but I'm going to say it because I don't care. They're bringing these people into this country to weaponize them and use them against the American public.
It's like a Trojan horse almost.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, because what I saw down in Lukeville a couple weeks ago was 1,200 Singolian men that were middle-aged military from Senegal. Senegalian men from Senegal. 1,200 of them lined up on the United States side on the border road waiting to be processed, and they were all middle-aged military men. There were no women, there were no children, they were all men. So you have to ask yourself, what's the motive for bringing all these military-aged men? And they're just not people from Senegal. They had 30 people from Syria, they had people from Iran, they had people from Afghanistan. We are bringing...
How did they get across?
They just crossed. They fly. So we were finding documents on the ground.
Right. I found a Cuban passport.
Yeah. We found. We're in possession of a passport from Senegal. We're in possession of passports from Pakistan and India. Wow. We also found plane ticket stubs where they were flying into Turkey, and from Turkey flying directly into Mexico, to Mexico City, and getting on a bus or whatever from Mexico City to the border. So somebody bigger and better with a lot of money is funding this. Whether it be the UN or it's the World Economic Forum or it's the Chinese Communist Party, I don't know. Until I can show what's happening and I have some legitimate hard-line proof of where money's coming from, I'm just speculating. But it's coming from somewhere. Somebody's facilitating all this.
So what's in the future for MSG?
Well, hopefully when Trump gets in office, and we're very confident that he will, we'll be at the tip of the spear in this fight on the border to get it back to where it was when he was in office the first time and get this situation ironed out.
Right. What are you doing for Christmas?
Spending it home
for a change.
And I'll probably be going back and forth to the border. I have some travel. We also operate in Texas, so we have some operations coming up in Texas, and my team and myself will be in Texas.
If people want to participate or help out, how can they help out? Or you're more of a private company? Or
yeah, we're a legitimate company. Everybody that works for me, we're a veteran-owned and operated company. Everybody that works for me is either former law enforcement or former military. A lot of operators that worked in law enforcement and the military, so they have some kind of background in what we're doing. But we also have a nonprofit organization called the 48 Special Activities Group, and it has two purposes. One is education, where we're educating the public on fentanyl, child sex trafficking, and human trafficking. And then the other mission that we have is easing the burden of government. So people can donate to that organization.
What's the website there?
48 Special Activities Group, 48sag.org. And you could donate to that nonprofit, and we are working and getting grants and donations so that we can fund operations for law enforcement to help the flow of migrants coming into the country and stop the fentanyl.
Gotcha. Well, Shawn, thanks for spending some time with us. I really appreciate it. Very interesting stories that you have here.
Thank you, sir.
And good luck in the future with your endeavors and protecting us.
Yeah, and if you ever want to come out with us, where we always take media and members from Congress out with us to show them what's going on, we're more than willing to take you out with us.
Okay, thank you, Shawn. Thank you very much. This is Roger Farina on location at Amfest in Phoenix for Indivisible with John Stubbins. John is up in Columbus, Ohio, and I don't. He always says we always promise to tell you the truth. We bring you God, country. He has this little phrase that he says. I should know it by heart by now. But Indivisible with John Stubbins and Shawn. Thank you so much, and y'all take care. You too.
Right here. You've been here 2 to 3 days.
Guatemala. Feliz Navidad.
To process you and put
Chad.
you on a bus somewhere. Right? Yeah.
We're getting Chad, not Chad. Sudan.
Yes.
And Chad.
Chad.
Right? Me, I've been to Tunisia before.
You go to Tunisia.
You know Star Wars?
Huh?
You know Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Yeah, in Tunisia, the movie. The movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never
Star Wars.
go Tunisia before.
Where'd you go? New York? Oklahoma? Where? Donde?
Francisco.
San Francisco? San Francisco? Family in San Francisco? Amigo, friend? Sometime Brooklyn, Oklahoma? No? Ciao.
Thanks for that reporting, Roger. Really appreciate your time, Shawn, and very valuable information, folks. I hope that you're paying attention. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
And thanks for staying with us, America. Great reporting by Roger Farina out of the Amfest in Phoenix, Arizona, and our friends and brothers Jaeson Jones and also Shawn Wilson. Great job reporting out there from Phoenix, Roger. We really appreciate your hard work. Don't forget, folks, this is the show we put God, family, and country first, and we will always tell you the truth. What matters is you, your families, our country, and God. That's what matters. So I hope that you're fulfilling your part in making that dream possible for you, not only your family, but for other families. Also, we want to thank you for tuning in. We got another great year ahead of us. So I hope that you're excited to see what we're going to bring you. But we've got the documentary American Anarchy. We're working hard as ever on that. We've got a big announcement coming up soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Again, always go to johnstubbins.com, and God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America. We'll see you next week.
We got any Johnny Cash fans up in this house tonight? Here's a burning thing, and it's made of fiery rain. Well, bound by wild side, I feel into ring of fire. Y'all may sing it, say I'm into the burning fire. Down, down, and the flames went high, and it burn, ring of fire. Ring of fire. Y'all sing it till the car. Hearts like our feet. I feel for it like a child. Oh, and by the wild. Here we go. Into every empire. When it's down, 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 and the flames went high. And it burn, burn, bring a fire, bring a fire. Play the guitar, son. This is our country. Do not forget who you are. Do not forget what your DNA is as an American. Do not forget it for one damn second. We stand on the shoulders of greats, and we're the next great set of shoulders. Can I get a hell yeah out of this crowd one time? Here's some Charlie Daniels. Crazy as a loon. I get up in the morning and get down in the afternoon. Kinda like my old blue chick hound. I like a bed round in the shade. And I ain't got no money, but a damn sure body's big. And I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, say it just here comes the world. You think I'm bad, 'cause I'm breathing free at last, and you're still stuck behind your mask, and I'm offended. You're offended. Yeah, let's all get offended tonight. Hi, Lord, us a beer. We can sit down right here, screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fine. Passing out $100 bills and the kills and the thrill, like a horns on my Silverado grill. High by the bar, triple round the crowd. Everybody's getting down in that town. It ain't never gonna be the same. Y'all see it. I said I made a lot of news. All the girls down to the river. Riding up and down the way. I was stepping up, and the girls said, "Say all it's right down for If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.